It's common knowledge that Game of Thrones is loosely based on the late medieval period of English history known as the Wars of the Roses, between two feuding royal families, the Lancasters and the Yorks, reimagined for today's mass audiences as the Lannisters and Starks. But how did the historically accurate English Game of Thrones actually begin? The great poet-playwright William Shakespeare marks it with a resounding exclamation. "The game's afoot!" cries out King Henry V of the House of Lancaster, just before winning one of the greatest military conquests in English history, the Battle of Agincourt. But the bard marks another historical moment with this memorable line.
"A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!"
So cries out King Richard III, last monarch of the House of York, just before his death that effectively ended the Wars of the Roses at the Battle of Bosworth Field. Decades of civil wars had totally wiped out the male lineages of both houses. Red and white finally had to unite as one Tudor monarchy. And Shakespeare, through his mastery of language and drama, not only showed the world the tragedy of such polarization, but helped us see both sides with empathy. When he says the game's afoot, he doesn't just mean the enemy's on the run. No, he immediately cries out for St. George, patron saint of England, yes, but deeper than mere nationalism. He's the one who slays the dragon of delusion, of divisive ignorance of our true spiritual nature. So there's deep metaphor in those words, because St. George's Day, April 23rd, is Shakespeare's own birthday. And now the game is really afoot, because you are about to witness proof positive that that date has been fixed, painstakingly designed to be a code that unlocks the long-sought truth about the bard's identity. He's actually challenging us to play his game and solve the greatest literary mystery of all time. A puzzle that is so ingenious in its design and precision that it's best expressed through a horse. A horse doing something poetically and mathematically mind-boggling within the kingdom of a chessboard. A knight or horse only moves in a certain way. We're going to start on square one here, and you've got two options, and having chosen one, you've got another 5 options here. All of the moves in the game are actually mapped out for you so that you play in this particular order. So you see all the numbers ahead, but it allows you to do what's called a knight's tour. You literally hit every single square on the board without ever duplicating, and along the way you're solving clues on every square. It's all done on red and white or red and black squares, and the funny thing is Shakespeare seems to have known about this, because he writes in Sonnet 130 about red, red, white, white, red and black. It's very interesting. 130 is the actual magic number that when you do this knight's tour correctly, each half row and each half column all add up to 130 according to the numbers that you landed on. Even the quadrants add up to 130. It's a remarkable Magic Square Knight's Tour. And as you progress through the game, as you complete a quadrant, you'll win a certain number of bonus points. Those bonus points all get accrued so that you win prizes at certain levels. It all adds up to 6240 points. At certain levels, you will be winning digital downloads of various chapters of new books that are yet to be published. So you'll be the first people to even see this information. The whole thing leads you, of course, to the altar where you will have completed the game, solved the mystery, and helped us to make history.